You're listening to Kizuki, the podcast. I'm Mae Yoshikawa, and I define the Japanese concept of kizuki as the following. Kizuki. 1. A moment of epiphany, an aha of realization or insight which opens the knower to a new dimension of truth that was formerly unknown. 2. Steps in an incremental growth of awareness, resulting in a movement from ignorance to greater awareness of the bigger picture. A kind of knowing that cannot be undone, that cannot be unrealized. As a longtime yoga and meditation practitioner, a world traveler, and curious self-explorer, I'm obsessed with kizukis. Listen on each week for inspiring and enlightening stories that may just tip you over for your next aha. On this week's episode, the first and the last. Y'all, I caught myself doing the thing. The thing that creepy moms do yesterday. Well, my older son, Isa, had some school event thing, so he was going to be out in the evening. So I took my 6-year-old boy, Aiden, and we went out to a local casual sushi shop. You know, it's just easy and quick and fun to pick up sushi. We had dinner out, and then I don't have to come home and worry about cooking and cleaning and doing like the whole nightly routine. But as we were enjoying our sushi dinner at our table, I caught myself totally staring at him, like staring him down, because I'm absolutely in love with him. The way that like he turns his head when he's eating his favorite sushi, and the way that his eyes follow each piece of shrimp and fish, and the way that he drips soy sauce, and just what a joyous, bubbling piece of energy he is. And there's a sense of the ephemeral, the passing, because, well, if you recall, I have 2 kids, and the older boy is 14, so there's 8 years between Isa and Aiden, meaning I know how quickly kids grow up and how quickly these days pass. And I know that my days of hanging out with Aiden and being lovey-dovey and holding hands and stuff is limited. So it's like I'm milking every moment with him. There's also a sense of remembrance about how I used to do that with Isa, of course, because Isa was my first. So it was like the first time for me to have a child, a baby first, and then a toddler, and then a child, and to hang out in daily wonderment about this being, this soul who came from me, but is totally other than me, that has a mind, a personality, an awareness of its own, that can look similar to me and say things that are similar to me, but also completely foreign too. So with Isa especially, there was a sense of him paving the way, you know? Everything was a first. I had whole emotions that I didn't know I had, that I experienced in raising Isa. For example, the sensation of, I am so proud of you. I still remember the day he was 2 going on 3, and he was spending the day at daycare. And when I went to pick him up at the end of my work day, the sensei, the teacher, the caretaker at daycare, said to me, Okasan, mother, today the children had a little outing to the park, and they hold hands 2 by 2 to go out to the park. And one of the kids in the row fell. And your son, Isa, was the first to reach out and help this other child up. He was very kind and very gentle, and I was very impressed with him. So when the teacher said that to me, of course, my little heart is just awash with this sensation of, oh my God, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of who you are and who you are away from me. It's not like at 2 going on 3, it's not like I taught him or I trained him to that effect. It's like who he is. And it just naturally sprang from his being. And this sensation of, oh my God, I am so proud of someone. I don't think I ever felt that. I mean, I certainly hadn't or couldn't feel that about myself. Not then. I wonder if I can feel that now. But it's almost a whole different level to feel that for your own child. So I just feel like, raising kids and these experiences are really just opening me up to the more of, I want to say human potential, but it's almost like soul level who we are, because it's not a conditioned response. It's just springs from the naturalness of being. Anyway, so with Isa, there was the sense of, that's a first. This is a first, kind of wonderment, one after the other. And now with Aiden, there's a sense of, this could be the last. This could be the last. Because I don't think that I'm going to have any more children. Now, granted, of course, I will have other experiences in other places, and maybe one day I'll have grandchildren, and God only knows what kind of wonderful experiences that are in store for me that I can't even imagine quite yet. But just the sense of this might be the last. And how the human mind just cherishes that meaningfulness when you recognize that this is your first and or this could be your last. I'm going to totally jump for a second to talk about my husband in those days before he passed, because my husband passed very, very suddenly, right? He was just this vibrant, healthy athlete, and he was killed instantly in a traffic accident, meaning no one had any idea that was going to happen. Neither he nor I knew that was going to be our last conversation, or that was going to be the last time he was going to look at me or I was going to look at him. That was going to be the last meal we shared, or the last words we spoke to each other. We didn't know. But I'm so lucky in the sense that I'm not left with regret. I don't have any regrets about, oh, we should have eaten that, or I shouldn't have said that, or we should have done that. We did everything. We said everything. The way that we looked at each other, the way that we cared for each other was so infused with such caring love and awareness that even though he died so suddenly and without any premonition, I'm so fortunate that I just wasn't left with coulda, shoulda, woulda done this or said this kind of thinking. And this also reminds me of what the beautiful author Suleika Jawad, I hope I'm not butchering her last name, but she's the wife of the musician, pianist, and singer, Grammy-winning singer, Jon Batiste. And they were both recently featured in the documentary American Symphony, because Suleika was diagnosed with cancer, leukemia, and her leukemia came back right around the time that John was nominated for a bunch of Grammys. And so in the documentary, they talk about how they had to embrace the highs and the lows at the same time. And I think it was in that documentary where Suleika talks about how the doctor said, we don't know what's going to happen. I guess they had about 2 months with the diagnosis where they really didn't know if she was going to make it or not. And the doctor said for her to live each day as if it were her last. But Suleika said that didn't make any sense to her. She said, I want to live each day like it's my first. And that just really remained with me. Whether it's the freshness of the first or the dearness of the possible last, to cherish each moment, to cherish life as it is. Take that message with you, and I hope it enriches your week to come. Thank you for listening. Learn more about me in my upcoming book, Kizuki, Realizations Beyond Time and Death, at my website, maey.live, or find me on Instagram at maeyoshiKawa.